Welcome to Java. Thank you all kindly for joining me. It's December 11th, 2024, and it is Wednesday. We are expecting out the core inflation report, CPI, this morning prior to the market open. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Just want to put out a short reminder. We've got the Discord server. You can join us with the link that is in the description. Join us for chat, and then hopefully we will be having an open discussion about 5 o'clock this evening. We may have to modify the time slightly, but feel free to join us in there. We've got quite a bit going on. Now with this, I would like to give this episode a bit of a disclaimer to be careful drinking your coffee this morning, particularly if it is hot, because you may be prone to wanting to urgently expel it from your mouth on some of the stories that we've got this morning. Now with this, let's start with the market open. We've got our MMRI staying around the same number. We had a drop in the markets yesterday. So as it came to the close, came out quite a bit weaker. And if it wasn't for Google announcing a new, massively faster chip that they're talking about, quantum computing, holding up that end, the tech sector would have fallen significantly more. So a lot of weakness in the chip sector, drops on the big names, particularly NVIDIA and Palantir with that. And then the markets are continuing a bit weak, waiting on the core inflation report this morning. Now, with this, we've got the fear greed meter dropped a bit more into the neutral territory. Peers we're losing a bit more retailers. So with this weakness, it's kind of washing out the weak hands. Now, a note on the markets, they are down, but they're not down in a major way, although this is kind of a second follow-on day. So we'll have to keep an eye on, of course, the relative strength of the dollar, which is now increasing well above 106, and the 10-year yield. Now, both of these will put pressure on the stock market if they continue to rise. Now, the stocks at this moment, we had the Asian stocks are a bit weak. Yesterday, they had monetary easing, so they had bolster from that. But with the core inflation, the United States market is a bit stronger than the Asian market. So with this, we are looking at valuations of the stock market. I want to take a look at this for a moment. Now, there was word that the cryptocurrencies Bitcoin crashed. Well, the quote-unquote crash was only 94,000. It wasn't long ago that people were hesitant and saying that it wouldn't even make the mark of the 74,000. Now, it did leave a gap there that tends to want to close on charts. We'll see if it does. Not heading towards there yet. We'll have to break that 94,000. So with this still showing quite a bit of support in the cryptocurrencies. Now I want to talk about a couple of other things. We've got massive spending continuing with this now, affecting the pricing of stocks, rather the valuation of the stock market. In the old days, when we had an actual market and you would have people that would reasonably come buy and sell for the future dividends of the businesses behind the stocks, there was actual valuation. Nowadays, it is getting a large price of inflation. Now, what do I mean? We've got the United States paying another $20 billion in the Ukrainian loan fund. Now, this money will float out to the general public sooner or later, and that devalues the currency. So with this relative strength of the dollar, that is only because the other currencies are weaker. It's not gaining actual strength. So with this in-cash transfer coming from Washington, they're trying to fast-track aid to Kiev before new administration takes office. How do you feel about this? Because we've still got domestically these crushing policies. For instance, Chicago committees advancing their budget with a property tax hike. Now, sending money overseas for these wars instead of domestically. They've got problems that they've got to pay for, so they're raising property taxes. Now, this is an effort to crush out the middle class. Don't be deceived. So, when we talk about stock valuations nowadays, we talk about stock valuations becoming fantastical. And when I talk about fantastic stock valuations, I don't mean that they're wonderful. I mean them more in the sense like this guy here, that it is fantastical enough in existence of this guy, unicorn, farting rainbows, because these stock prices are only going up because of inflation. And if they're held up, they're due for a correction. I'm pulling back, but that's only to production. So this market is unnatural and insane, and many people are beginning to call it out. However, when this stuff happens with 20 billion in Ukrainian loan funds and more coming out, it will continue as priced in dollars because the dollar will have no value. Now, when you watch that relative strength of the dollar increase, it's only because other currencies are devaluing faster. We live in a mad, mad world. Okay, with this calendar, we're getting CPI prior to the market open this morning. And then I don't think they should call this a federal budget, because budget is a completely different term nowadays. However, coming out 2 p.m. Thursday, we're getting initial jobless claims and the PPI producer price index. Now, the PPI is arguably more important. These are coming out prior to market open tomorrow. And that is because if producers have to pay more in order to create their goods, they're not going to take that increased cost. They're going to pass it on. So stocks going up, prices going up, inflation going up, inflation to continue. Now, US inflation data to show the fourth consecutive month of firm gains. Of course, I mean, with what they're doing, that is ridiculous to say anything otherwise. Traders pretty sure of a Fed rate cut. What happens if this inflation data is too hot? Showing the inflation is so significant that they cannot cut rates. Now, that would have a severe effect on the market, tanking it. And so, if they can't cut rates, the market will take care of this itself and dump it. So, that is what would happen. A couple other things I would like to get to. Now, I'm putting this out very early, so I'm not going over the stock pricing or the futures at the moment. But I'd like to talk about, again, cryptocurrencies. Now, this headline, absolutely ridiculous. Altcoin suffering as Bitcoin sinks to 96,600. Now, a key level before this is actually 94,000. Didn't even hit that. So it's still strong, in my opinion. As I said, there is a gap that will probably close possibly in the future. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But as I said, all of these are relative. So the price of a house, the price of a car, the price of Bitcoin, the price of stocks, all of these inflating massively at rapid pace. So with this, we've got another kind of going into cryptocurrency, but this is showing the direction this is all heading. We've got Chainlink, and I've been talking about this one as a main one that is going to be used by the financial system and then eventually by the US military. Now, integrating with Coinbase, tokenized assets platform, they're enabling verifiable data transmission and cross-chain interoperability in Project Diamond. Now, two things here. Number one, Coinbase was the one that was tagged to be able to handle these volumes of transactions. Number two, Chainlink now as the token that will be used. Now, they're saying the quiet part out loud. By integrating this standard natively onto the project platform powered by Coinbase, they're paving the way for widespread institutional adoption of digital assets. Now, I've been talking about tokenization. They will be trading everything on Coinbase. One of these days, the only question I have forward is, how much will be the fees? When they trade me, how much will it cost? Very curious. Okay, so going on, I've got a short story, The Onion, with InfoWars. Now, this is a war on information. They've got to keep control on this. but the bankruptcy judge ruled against the Onion's acquisition of this, so we'll see what happens forward. And with this, of course, they will cause an event that will make you adopt what they're coming out with. What is this going to possibly be? Could be this. We've got samples that went missing from a lab in a major biosecurity breach. So another issue coming from there could be the continuing war. We've got major things happening on the front with Syria. We've got Israel doing attacks there. We've also got Ukraine now sending long-range missiles into Russian territory. So a lot of things blowing up on that end. But I think in the end, it's all going to boil down to unicorns again. So we'll keep an eye on the unicorn population for you. With this, I wish you all a wonderful day. Hopefully you go grain trading. If there's anything else, keep your freedom above all. And with that, my friends, I'll see you next time.